feed all over America. There's on Facebook and Twitter and all these social networking sites. The boycott is exploding. If we can get the share price of Whole Foods down to below $1 a share, it's currently at $28 a share. It's worth about $4 billion. If the boycott can get big enough to drive the share price to less than $1, then my guys in London are prepared to give $1 million away to victims of the American health industry, to America directly. So, my message to people in America who are complaining about the healthcare situation, do something about it. Stop complaining. Stop talking to the government.
Max, let me stop you here.
For you.
Let me stop you here, because what the establishment does is they always have false debates about issues that don't even resemble reality. And so I agree with you to a point here, but I want to be specific and find out exactly what you're saying. Yes, we have more and more a monopoly healthcare where big insurance companies and big mega healthcare businesses, doctors are paid about half what they were per capita for inflation in the 1970s. They're certainly being squeezed. The people are getting less. The 30 million illegal aliens have bankrupted a lot of the state and county and city systems. That's another factor. So when we hear this healthcare debate, all Obama's doing is trying to give liability protection to insurance companies, HBOs, and big medical firms, and has nothing to do with even socialized healthcare, whether you're for that or against it. So then the left all piles on supporting the single payer when we're not even debating that. The question is, why do Americans pay 3 times what anybody else does for drugs? Why are we known as the moron schmucks that get charged more for health care when we did have the best health care in the world? So I don't think the British socialists wait 2 years for a brain tumor surgery. And I've seen Tony Blair admit they do that on the House of floor, on the Commons floor. I know it goes on. So we're not talking about that system. None of us want that. But the issue is big corporations have come in. Here's an example. My dad's a dentist. Most of these big dental offices now that are big chains only take what they call capitation. And that means that big companies come in and pay a company millions of dollars to say they'll take people on their plan, but then you get reduced care when you come in for it. So Max Keiser, what I'm trying to say here to you, and my question is, what are we dealing with here? I mean, what are you saying? Because the healthcare debate
let me connect the dots, okay? Let me connect the dots. We know that America's energy policies are written by the energy industry. Okay, would you say that's a fair statement? When
Yes.
Dick Cheney came into office in 2000, he had that secret meeting with Enron and the whole industry, and they wrote America's energy policies, which included, by some accounts, invading other countries. But the industry was writing the energy policy, not the administration. Fair statement? I think so. How about America's defense contracting business and Americans' foreign policy? And is that being written, in fact, by the same mercenary firms that stand to benefit from a corporate perspective?
Yes.
Okay, who's writing America's banking policies? Is it the banking industry? Yes, of course it's the banking industry. There's no one representing the people when they're writing these policies. It's the banking industry that's writing all these policies to benefit the banks. So, connect the dots. Why should the health industry be different? The health industry, all the policies are being written by the health industry. That's the main point. That's point number one.
Exactly. So the reform we hear we're getting, either way, the Republican version is one monopoly, the Democratic version is another monopoly. Either way, no matter what you call for, it's going to be written by the lobbyist and going to be something completely different. That's why I say we want nothing out of government. We ought to pay them just to stop writing laws.
Okay, so listen, if we're saying that soliciting the government and petitioning the government is a waste of time, then, we can agree that that's probably true. And what I'm suggesting is that anyone in the country, in the United States, who wants to push back in a meaningful way, if you boycott this company, Whole Foods, sufficient to drive the stock price down to below $1 a share, my guys in London are prepared to give $1 million in cash to the victims of America's healthcare industry.
That means they'll all get $1 a piece.
Well, first of all, it shows that the people have the ability to push back. And
okay, well, Max, flesh this out here, because you've never done anything like this on my show before. I got to be honest with you. The owner of Whole Foods is a listener of this show. He lives in Austin. We have confirmed it. Isn't it possible, Max, that he just disagreed with the government takeover, and that certainly was in the bill, of health care? and he's saying people should just be healthier. I mean, and we should eat healthier food, which I think is important. I mean, I agree with you on a lot of stuff, but I'm not sure where this is going. I mean, if they're able to bully, because the same George Soros outfits that are bullying, everybody else about free speech and saying, if you disagree with Obama, you're a racist, the same crew is saying, destroy Whole Foods.
Yeah, but why parse our words? We know that corporations, they're all connected to the banking industry, including Whole Foods. It's a $4 billion company. He's out there trying to parse his words and play both sides of the fence, and he's playing to an institutional investor audience. He's also playing to a retail audience. And what I'm saying, if we can agree that the government is not there who's going to step up to the plate for the people have the ability to affect a massive dislocation in that stock price.
Okay, he's probably listening right
get $1 million
Stop.
to the victims of American health industry. If they can get that stock price to below $1 a share. Now I realize you've got Austin. It's a big presence in Austin, and I'll tell you what. I'll have Mackey, who's the CEO of Whole Foods, come on my show.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have confirmed he's a listener every week, and I told my guys just last week I want to get Mackey on. Have him come on my show. I mean, I want him to tell the world why he thinks Americans shouldn't have decent health care. Tell the world. And he'll be laughed out of, he's going to be laughing his face. Only in America can a CEO like him get up and posit that Americans shouldn't deserve health care at a price that they can afford. It's absolutely unconscionable. But is that what he said in the Wall Street Journal? I mean, he was saying he didn't like this Obama plan that was written by special interest.
Well, I'm saying debate me on my show, okay? I don't want to put you in the middle. Okay, have him come on my show, and I'll flay him. I'll rip him apart, verbally on my show, and that's enough on that. But I'm saying that if the people out there want to push back against what they consider to be a corporate-controlled policies they're the victim of, they're getting no savings, they've got no pensions, they've got no jobs, wages are going down, the economy's going into the mud, and the people are saying, what do we do? What do we do? And I'm saying, I'm giving you a possibility. Boycott this company down to the stock below $1 a share. I've got $1 million I'm trying to raise in London to give to victims of the American healthcare industry, and move it that way. And I did this. I had a campaign like this in London 2 or 3 years ago. It became international news. We were talking about Coca-Cola and the hedge fund talking about Coca-Cola, and there was a legal opinion written about it. They said this is an absolute legal method to impose the risk associated with
Max. I mean, I'm not here attacking you. I don't have a dog in the fight with Whole Foods. I shop there sometimes and read what the guy said, and I see this bullying going on where I have Media Matters saying I'm a liar. There is no plan for forced national service. Now, you're an informed guy. You know they've introduced the bills. You know Rahm Emanuel's called for that. And here's what I'm talking about. Here's a short clip of Chris
They're just playing for time. All they're doing is they're just trying to play out the clock. They want to get rid of Obama and bring in, who knows, Dick Cheney again. They're just trying to marginalize Obama for as long as they possibly can. And the United States people need to realize this is probably the last 36 months they'll have, as your film talks about, fall of the Republic. It's not a meadow. It's not a stretch. This is it. This is the last 36 months. Do you want to stand up and do you want to fight for your economic freedom against corporate jihadists, or do you want to die in the mud? Now, that's a simple question.
No, I know, but Max, I'm trying to understand here. What would you do with health care then?
Well, the health care is obvious. It's like any other business. You want to get the best price for your health care. There's nothing mysterious about it. Drugs cost money. Doctors cost money.
But that's not a free market to have Obama waddle in.
Do you want the wholesale price, or do you want the retail price? Do you want to pay the Tiffany prices and get crappy health care, or do you want to pay Walmart prices and get health care that works for you? It's just a matter of pricing. Health care is nothing mysterious about it. They talk about European health system, and they talk about the system in Britain and the system in France. Basically, it boils down to this. You pay a low, yearly amount of money when you break it all down, and you don't have to think about health care. People in France don't even think about health care because it's not even an issue, because it's just totally within their life. They don't sit around debating health care. They solved that mystery 60 years ago. America is still still talking about healthcare 60 years after World War II. It shows that they're completely, they're in the poo-poo caca phase. You know, this Jesse Ventura show, they want me to fly to New York to talk to Jesse Ventura, and I'm like, I don't want to fly to New York. I'd rather fly to Calcutta. Do you think I want to go to that third world